The screen opens on a rain-soaked street, neon reflections shimmering in puddles. Ethan's fingers hover over his phone, trembling as he hesitates to open a playlist named For Us. Curiosity gnaws at him, but an unspoken dread keeps him frozen. The first note hits soft and haunting, and suddenly he hears the hidden truth embedded in each song, a confession he never expected. Memories of laughter, whispered promises, and shared sunsets flood him, only to shatter as he deciphers lyrics that speak of another man. His heartbeat races, chest tightening. He wants to close the app, throw the phone, pretend nothing exists, but every track drags him deeper. The city hums around him, indifferent, as he realizes that music, the language he thought was theirs, has betrayed him. Ethan sits on the edge of his bed, rain dripping through a cracked window, heart and mind colliding in slow-motion realization. The screen cuts to black for a heartbeat, leaving only the pulse of the playlist echoing like a siren of betrayal. Ethan scrolls through the playlist, each track a breadcrumb of betrayal, every lyric a whispered confession he was never meant to hear. The familiar tunes he once hummed with Maya now cut like shards of glass. His chest tightens, the room seems smaller, suffocating. He pauses on one song, replaying it, the melody looping in his mind as he traces moments in their life, now stained with doubt. He feels the urge to confront her, but fear roots him to the spot. The playlist knows what he doesn't yet, and in that knowledge, he feels powerless. Memories of their first apartment flood back as Ethan listens to a song titled Midnight Confessions. He sees Maya laughing in the kitchen, hair messy, coffee in hand. But overlaying that memory is a shadow, a figure in the background he never noticed, a glimpse of secrets hidden in plain sight. His stomach knots as realization creeps in. The music has mapped out a story she never spoke aloud. He checks the timestamps on the playlist. Late nights, songs she saved when he thought she was asleep, playlists made for someone else. Each title a clue, each lyric a secret letter from the life he didn't know she led. The betrayal feels cinematic, larger than life, but painfully real. He drops the phone, its glow bouncing off the walls, heart pounding in rhythm with the rain outside. Ethan stumbles to the couch, wrapping himself in a blanket like armor. The playlist continues to play in the background, each song a cruel narrator of truths he isn't ready to face. In the quiet, punctuated by rain and the distant hum of the city, he finally allows the thought to settle. Everything he believed, everything they shared, may have been a carefully orchestrated illusion. Ethan sits at his laptop, eyes red from hours of staring at the playlist, the room lit only by the cold glow of the screen. He cross-references song dates with photos and messages he never paid attention to, trying to decode a life he didn't know existed. The city outside pulses with oblivious energy, while inside, Ethan's world narrows to the glowing pixels and the dread building in his chest. He clicks on a song titled Late Night Lament and freezes. Its lyrics mirror a conversation he thought was private. The playlist is a confession, a map, a trail he feels compelled to follow even if it destroys him. He calls his friend Jordan. 35, voice low, trembling with a mix of anger and disbelief. He hesitates before asking the question he doesn't fully want answered. Have you noticed anything between her and anyone else? The line goes quiet for a beat, then Jordan's voice, careful, almost regretful, confirms Ethan's worst fears. Ethan feels the room shrink around him. The music in the background sounds like a taunting echo of betrayal. Determined to understand, Ethan dives deeper into the playlist. Each song leads to a memory, and each memory pulls him into a parallel narrative he never saw. A late-night bar, laughter with strangers, a touch that wasn't his. The soundtrack of his life with Maya is now a forensic map of her duplicity. He starts journaling, every lyric translated into a question, every beat cataloged as evidence. Ethan decides to visit the places the songs hint at: the quiet cafe where Maya met someone, the bookstore where her laughter echoed with someone else. Each location strikes him like a revelation, a punch to memory and heart. He takes photos, records, snippets of ambient sound, every detail a breadcrumb linking lyrics to reality. He feels the creeping thrill and horror of discovery. Truth and torment intertwine. Back at his apartment, Ethan plays the playlist on loop, overlaying his new findings. The soundtrack transforms from betrayal to revelation. Each lyric now a coded message, each note a hidden truth unveiled. He leans back, exhaustion and grief etched into his posture, realizing that the music she created for someone else has become his own instrument of reckoning. His mind races with confrontation, confession, and the impossible decision of whether to salvage what remains or let it crumble entirely. Ethan's apartment feels smaller with each passing hour. The playlist loops, a cruel narrator of truths he can't unhear. Tonight, he notices a recurring lyric that hints at a coffee shop he and Maya used to pass but never entered. Compelled, he grabs his coat, rain pelting the streets, and follows the invisible map the songs have laid before him. The city is alive with oblivion, unaware of his heartbreak. Each streetlight flicker synchronized with his pounding pulse. He wonders if discovery will bring closure or only deepen the wound. Inside the coffee shop, the smell of roasted beans mixes with ambient chatter. Ethan sits in a shadowed corner, scanning faces. Then he sees her, Maya, 32, laughing across the room with a man whose presence feels wrong, intimate in ways that make Ethan's stomach tight. He freezes, recognizing the laughter from a song, the curve of her hand from a photograph, the rhythm of betrayal translated into real life. The playlist had been right all along. He leaves the cafe without confronting her, the playlist now a soundtrack of both torment and revelation. Back in his car, Ethan plays the tracks again, pausing on each lyric like a detective piecing together a puzzle. Anger, disbelief, heartbreak, every emotion crashes over him, and he realizes the betrayal isn't just in the act, but in the meticulous musical diary she left behind. The city hums as if complicit, indifferent to his unraveling. Ethan begins tracing the dates of songs to pinpoint other meetings, decoding timestamps and geotags hidden in album artwork. Each clue he uncovers pulls him into a parallel life of Maya's secrets. Her smiles in snapshots, handwritten notes, tiny gestures captured in music. He becomes both detective and victim, consumed by the need to see the truth unfold. The playlist, once innocent, has become his relentless interrogator. Late at night, Ethan returns to the apartment drenched and exhausted. The playlist has led him here, but also forced a reckoning. The music, once a shared escape, is now a mirror reflecting everything he refused to see. He sits on the floor, head in hands, and for the first time allows the weight of truth to fully settle. Confrontation is inevitable. The question now is whether it will lead to closure or ruin. The playlist hums on, a soundtrack to his awakening, its last notes fading into silence as the camera lingers on his crumpled form. Ethan sits at the kitchen table, playlist looping quietly on the phone beside him. He scribbles questions, rehearses words he may never speak, his mind racing through every possible confrontation. Rain drips from the cracked window onto the countertop, echoing his mounting anxiety. Every song has left a mark, every lyric a wound he can't ignore. Tonight, he decides he can no longer chase shadows. He must face her, face the truth, or dissolve into the music's relentless confession. Maya enters the apartment, humming a tune that once felt intimate. Ethan's chest tightens. He motions for her to sit, words trapped in his throat. She notices his gaze, the silence stretching like a taut wire. The playlist, still faintly audible, becomes their unspoken mediator. Ethan finally speaks, each syllable heavy with accusation, fear, and heartbreak. Maya's face shifts, her own guilt reflected in the glow of the phone, as if caught in the crossfire of music and memory. The confrontation unfolds in tense, fragmented sentences. Ethan names songs, dates, lyrics, the playlist a ledger of betrayal. Maya falters, then confesses, words spilling like water from a dam. Every secret she thought hidden in melody and rhythm is exposed. Ethan listens, torn between anger, sorrow, and the remnants of love he cannot yet relinquish. The room vibrates with unspoken tension, their shared history collapsing under the weight of revelation. Maya steps closer, desperate for understanding, but Ethan recoils. He realizes that trust, once broken, cannot be rebuilt with words alone. The playlist has given him clarity, every lyric, every note, a mirror to her deception. He moves toward the window, watching rain streak the glass, city lights distorted and flickering. The soundtrack of their lives echoes behind him, now a haunting reminder of the life they can no longer reclaim. The apartment falls silent except for the faint hum of the playlist, looping a song that once symbolized love. Ethan turns off the phone, letting the music die. He exhales slowly, a mixture of grief and reluctant acceptance washing over him. He knows the next steps will be the hardest, deciding whether to walk away or attempt the impossible: forgiveness. But for the first time since discovery, he feels a flicker of agency, a choice untethered from betrayal. The rain continues outside, relentless yet cleansing, marking the end of one chapter and the uncertain beginning of another. Ethan walks through the city streets at dawn, the playlist long turned off. The rain has stopped, leaving the streets glistening in the early sunlight. Each step feels heavy, the weight of betrayal pressing on his chest. He passes familiar corners, reminders of the life he thought he knew. But today the world seems slightly different, sharper, more raw. For the first time, he lets himself imagine a life not dictated by the echoes of Maya's music, not tethered to her secrets. Back in the apartment, Ethan starts clearing the remnants of their shared life, stacking books, folding clothes, placing trinkets into boxes. Each item is a memory, some sweet, some piercing. He pauses over a photo of them laughing together, tracing the smiles with his finger. Grief and nostalgia collide, but beneath it, a quiet resolve begins to form. He realizes that moving forward will not erase the past, but it can honor his own emotional survival. He returns to the playlist one last time, not to relive betrayal, but to listen without expectation. The songs are no longer confessions, no longer maps to secrets. They are echoes of a chapter that has ended. He closes his eyes, absorbing the melodies as reminders of love's complexity and human imperfection. Healing feels fragile but possible, like the first tentative sunrise after a storm. Later, he meets Jordan at a quiet cafe. They talk, not just about betrayal, but about survival, resilience, and the odd solace found in confronting truth. Laughter returns in small doses, tentative yet genuine. Ethan realizes that while music had once betrayed him, it also guided him to clarity. The path forward will be uneven, but he is no longer adrift. That evening, Ethan stands on the balcony of his apartment, city lights twinkling below. He breathes deeply, the past heavy, but no longer paralyzing. The playlist remains on the phone, silent, a relic of betrayal transformed into a tool for understanding and closure. He whispers to himself that he will survive, he will rebuild, and perhaps one day love again, not with Maya, but with the possibility of a future unbound by secrets. The city hums with life, indifferent yet comforting, as he closes the balcony door and steps into the quiet night, ready for the next chapter. Ethan wakes to sunlight streaming through the apartment, warm and forgiving. For the first time in weeks, he doesn't reach for his phone immediately. Instead, he brews coffee, the aroma grounding him. Music still exists, but it no longer controls him. He hums a tune absent of secrets, a melody of self-possession, realizing that healing begins in small, deliberate moments of calm. The world outside feels accessible, not threatening. He takes a walk through the park, each step deliberate. Birds chirp, leaves shimmer in the gentle breeze, and for the first time, Ethan notices the world without overlaying suspicion. Children play, couples laugh, and he allows himself to imagine happiness again. His past with Maya is still there, but it no longer defines him. He's learning to inhabit the space between grief and renewal. Ethan visits a local record store, fingers brushing the spines of vinyl albums. Music, once the instrument of betrayal, now becomes a vessel of rediscovery. He selects an album at random, a song unfamiliar yet comforting. The melody washes over him, filling empty spaces he didn't know existed. For the first time, he feels the possibility of joy independent of shared history, an intimate reclamation of his own narrative. At night, Ethan sits at his piano, hesitant at first. He plays simple chords, the notes tentative, unsure. But soon, the melody grows stronger, confident, alive. He improvises, layering emotions of loss, resilience, and hope. Music is no longer a map of someone else's secrets. It is a vessel for his own voice. For the first time in months, he feels his soul untethered, creating rather than reacting. The following morning, Ethan sits with Jordan at their favorite cafe, sharing stories not of betrayal but of possibility. He talks about music, art, and the small joys he's begun to notice again. He laughs freely, unburdened by the weight of discovery or heartbreak. Life still carries scars, but they no longer define him. The playlist is silent, the past acknowledged, and Ethan begins to embrace a future of his own making. Resilient, self-aware, and cautiously hopeful. Ethan stands at the edge of a quiet lake at sunrise, the world bathed in golden light. The water mirrors the sky, calm and infinite. He holds the phone with the playlist one last time, scrolling through songs that once revealed betrayal. With a deep breath, he places it in his pocket, not to erase the past, but to honor it and move beyond. Each step along the shoreline feels lighter, unburdened, a quiet declaration that he is no longer defined by someone else's secrets. He meets a small group of friends for brunch, laughter spilling across the table. Conversations flow freely, punctuated by shared memories and lighthearted jokes. Ethan realizes that connection and joy exist beyond heartbreak. The playlist, once a weapon of revelation, is now silent, a relic, a lesson. Life moves forward, unshackled from deception, leaving room for trust, friendship, and self-discovery. That evening, Ethan plays piano in his apartment, improvising freely, each note a celebration of survival and self-possession. The music is vibrant, alive, filled with the complexity of loss, resilience, and hope. Through creation, he acknowledges the past without letting it anchor him, transforming pain into art and solitude into a sanctuary. Walking home at night, Ethan pauses to look at the city skyline. Lights flicker like distant memories, each one a chapter he has survived. He feels the weight of the past, the sting of betrayal, and the sweetness of rediscovered self. He breathes deeply, aware that life will continue to bring challenges, but he is ready, unbroken, capable of facing anything with clarity and courage. Finally, Ethan sits at a rooftop overlooking the city, a notebook open beside him. He begins to write, not a letter, not a confession, but his own story. Every line carries acknowledgement of the past, gratitude for lessons learned, and hope for the future. The playlist remains silent, the chapters it revealed now fully processed. He smiles faintly, a weight lifted, a heart lighter, stepping into the next chapter of life with clarity, courage, and quiet joy.